Yeah. Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back. Just wait and you'll see. Please excuse me, your honor, but you can't hold me no longer. Can't you feel the vibrations? I broke out and left traces. Go ahead, try to catch me if you can, man. You'll be looking all night, I'm the Sandman. New York, London to Japan. I'ma show the whole world who I am. Boom, boom, Major look, huh? Yeah, this one is for the books. All these chances I took still, I move straight on these rooks now. Hold me up or hold me down, have my back or hold my crown. Either you with me or not, but you better give all you got, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back. Just wait and you'll see.
Raise a glass, you've made it another year. Happy birthday, have a laugh, crack a smile, even shed a tear. Because it's your birthday. Pop the cork, pour the flute, make a wish, and don't forget to count the candles. Now we celebrate with cheers. Raise your glass to another year. Raise your glass, it's time to have some fun. Happy birthday, yellow cake for another trip around the sun. Because it's your birthday. Coffee or tea, cream and sugar. Is it time to open presents? Friends and loved ones gather near. Raise your glass to another year. Years may come and years may go, but the sun will rise again tomorrow. Raise your glass, I think we've had too much to drink. Happy birthday, one day you're young, and then they say you're aged like wine or tan as leather. Now we face our greatest fear. Raise your glass to another year. Friends and loved ones gathered in. Raise your glass to another year.
Everything is twofold. What's joy is pain on the other hand. And what happens when the one that you love is the main cause of your suffering? I need you like I need air to breathe. I need you to save me from me. I'm caught in your wave, I'm drifting away. I need you to save me. Please don't let me drown. 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 Whoa. Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. I'm drowning with all of this darkness surrounding. You need me like you need air to breathe. You want me to save you from me. I know that you're trapped inside this wave. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna save you from me? I can't see you drown. 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 Whoa. Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. It's a toxic addiction. You're a guilty affliction. Yeah. I can't breathe. I need to get some air, but it's a toxic addiction. You're a guilty Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe.
Nothing out there could ever stop me from chasing after the way you love me, keeping me up 2 cups of coffee. Baby, you make me feel so lovely. I keep on running, no, I should've wanted I keep on falling right into your thought, I can't get you off my mind. So sweet, yeah, I need it from you. Got my hands all on you, sweet. Everything I want is sugar like yes, please. Love is like candy. Sweet, yeah, I need it from you. Got my hands all on you, sweet. Everything I want is sugar like yes, please. Love is like candy. Oh, what a rush each time you catch me chasing after the way you love me. Color my life up like confetti. Baby, you make me feel so lovely. I keep on running, no, I should've wanted I keep on falling right into your thought, I can't get you off my mind. So sweet, yeah, I need it from you. Got my hands all on you, sweet. Everything I want is sugar like yes, please. Love is like candy. Sweet, yeah, I need it from you. Got my hands all on you, sweet. Everything I want is sugar like yes, please. Love is like candy. Yeah, I need it from you. Got my hands all on you, sweet. Everything I want is sugar like yes, please. Love is like candy. Yeah, I need it from you. Got my hands all on you, sweet. Everything I want is sugar like yes, please. Love is like candy. Nothing out there could ever stop me from chasing after the way you love me, keeping me up 2 cups of coffee. Baby, you make me feel so lovely. So sweet, yeah, I need it from you. Got my hands all on you, sweet. Everything I want is sugar like yes, please. Love is like candy. Sweet, yeah, I need it from you. Got my hands all on you, sweet. Everything I want is sugar like yes, please. Love is like candy. Sweet, yeah, I need it from you. Got my hands all on you, sweet.
Check.
I want is sugar like yes, please. Love is like candy. Sweet, yeah, I need it from you. Got my hands all on you, sweet. Everything I want is sugar like yes, please. Love is like candy.
Doodle-doo. Oh, is that the end of the song? I should push the button, right? Hey, America. America. What's up, everybody? It is Friday, June. And I almost said June 10th. That's not true. It's June 11erd. It's June 11erd, 2021. How's everybody out there doing today? It's a lovely, wet, pouring rain kind of Friday out here in the soggy Pacific Northwest. Hello. Welcome back to the show. What do we got here? Let's say what's up to first in the chat. Wesley's Fish Club, the Zombie Drummer, Recab Harris, Jake D, FPV. What does the FPV stand for, Jake? You gotta let us know. FPV? I was gonna say first person something, but that would seem wrong. First, first person violinist, first person vibration. Is it the first person vibrator? Oh my god. It's gotten crazy here on a Friday. Good to see everybody here, including Smeal Kapoor, Linda Worth, Pipex, Michael Sar, Fish Tank Bar, Daryl Deemer, Big D Smoke, Freshwater Ichthyology, Jamie Oliver, Alyssa Bentley, Joshua Stover. Ooh, Joshua Stover. That's a name from the past. What's up, Josh? Chirish. Did I say Big D Smoke? I'm going to say it again. Why not? Big D, what's up? Krager's Fish. Aqua Blue Bear, Brian P. I don't know. Who else did I miss? Mike Kinseth? I don't know. I feel like I said everybody. Joel G. All the way from New Z. All right. Good times. I think we caught up. With all of the names. There they are. Right at ya. Coming. All the names. That's everybody who was in the name area. And quick shout out. Did everybody hit the like button? Because that's free. And at the beginning of the show here, I'm going to mention something. And that is the fact that this show is brought to you by these muchachos right down here in the corner. The members, the patrons. The members and the patrons. I know that some people out there are like, hey, I watch 100 hours of your content every week, and that's how I support your channel. And my hat's off to you. My hat's off to you. I love you. Thank you for watching so much of my content. That is awesome. But the nature of the beast, the nature of capitalism says, well, what's Google going to do with those views? They're going to minimize the amount of return to yours truly, because that's how corporations work. They want to maximize their own dollar, and they want to minimize how much output they're putting out there. That's just how it works. It's all good. But because of these patrons and whatnot, and because of these members right here, we're able to do the show. For some people that are like $1 a month, and some people that are like $5 a month, that kind of stuff. That's the whole reason I'm even able to be here, to come talk about stuff, and to continue to work on video projects for you guys. I have to tell you, I have to drop my gratitude. It's Gratitude Friday. What's up, y'all, you first-person vibrators out there? The FPVs. To all the FPVs in chat. Ow. Oh. If I die on stream, that would suck. Ow. Oh, God, that hurts. So some of you out there know that I've had a collapsed lung and whatnot, and I still have nonsense in my rib cage, and every once in a blue moon, it does what it's doing right now, which is uncomfortable to say the least. And there now, I think I've gotten used to it. Okay, back to normal. I think I've gotten used to it. There. We have 83 members, thanks to one of our newest members, Redmont, 2 days ago becoming a member. Thank you very much. I 100% appreciate you. And then we got to update our patrons. By the way, it's Gratitude Friday. I got to tell you, thank you very much for everybody for being whatever you are. Are you a patron? Are you a member? Whatever you are. There's something. There's some FBV name that you guys should have, and that's fun. I don't know what it is, though. We used to say the Oceaneers, but I don't know that it makes sense. I don't know that it makes sense to regular people wandering around. 1, 2, 3 people deleted, but 1, 2, 3 people joined. 1, 2, 3, 4 joined. Matthew Cox, being the newest Patreonizer, brought us up to 181. The other ones are mysterious because they were already patrons before, so I don't know who they are. But Matthew Cox, brand new patron to the channel, took advantage of the yearly discount. I like it. I like it when people take advantage of the yearly discount. And I think YouTube is doing the 6-month, 2-month, blah, 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 that kind of membership with a discount, and Google actually pays all of that. So if you want to figure out how to get some money out of Google's pocket, you could become a member on a on a longer thing, and then they're paying it. They're coughing up the money for that. So you could do that. That's fun. That's a fun thing, right? Found a toothpick. Naturally, I start poking at my teeth with it. All right, so today is Friday, June 11th, and I was on the social media, as the boomers call it. The boomers out there call it the old social media, and I noticed something was going on. I noticed that King and Queen Cichlids, I believe that's the name that they go by, have decided to throw in the towel. They're breaking down their fish room. They're getting rid of their stuff, as far as I could tell. I don't know why. I don't know why, and don't ask me why. I don't know. It sounded like personal reasons, maybe burnout or something. I'm not 100% sure, but it's really sad to see some good contributors to the online community and the fish community here. It's sad to see them go, but the first thing I have to say about it is that it's sad to see them go. The second thing I have to say about it is I would imagine that there's definitely some kind of hope on the horizon that they do make an illustrious return at some point in time. I would always recommend people to just be patient with anybody that's taking a break from something like that. I'm not sure what happened. I really don't know, but it just sounds to me like, there's a lot going on, and it's probably a lot, and I could definitely relate to that, where you're like, dude, I've got a million things going on. I'm super busy all the time, and just you start to burn out. You just can't maintain the level of what you were doing at like a really intense. It's like when you're running a marathon, you can't sprint the whole time. You know what I'm saying? You can't sprint the whole entire way and hope to make it to the end of the marathon. You do have to kind of sit back in the pocket and do a little bit of marathon style running, which is sort of almost speed walking or something like that. You got to kind of do that, and you got to try to do that. And then sometimes you don't even have an opportunity to just keep doing the marathon thing. You just got to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I made a half marathon, and that's going to be good for now. And in a couple months, I'll go back to trying to do a marathon again, something like that. I did see that they sold all their tanks, gave all their fish away, but they were keeping basically their best tank. From what I understand, it sounded like they were staying with one of their best tanks with their best fish, and they were just going to keep them as, regular fish keepers would, where you'd have like a tank and just take care of some fish instead of letting it get, instead of letting the hobby get totally expanded to a point where it becomes like this extra job. I think it sounds like they're just going to kind of go a little more chill and just do the chill thing, which sort of makes sense. So I wanted to keep this as sort of the multifaceted topic of the day here on Friday. So I kind of wrote some things out that we wanted to talk about. The first part here, I definitely wanted to just talk about my personal experience with getting completely burnt out, understanding what it's like when you're working two jobs, you're commuting. Obviously, the pandemic has been a wildly big stressor, personally and societally, from all angles. It's been an incredibly stressful year. There's been a lot going on, so I could understand, people getting to that breaking point of just going like, look, some of these things need to go on the back burner for maybe a prolonged period of time. I just need to take a break, and I fully understand that, and I can definitely relate. I can definitely relate to that. There have been periods of time in my life, like when I got sober, I was just like, dude, I can't do this right now. I can't do YouTube. I tried to do YouTube. It didn't work, mainly because I was just so engrossed with getting sober, with the process of getting sober, staying sober, maintaining my sobriety, and moving forward in life in a completely different way than I had previously. It's weird. It's weird for being somebody who's an alcoholic and addict like I am, that when I got into sobriety, it was like, so you're telling me if I get really tired, I'm not supposed to take a whole bunch of drugs to get me to just be able to stay awake all night and work on crazy stuff? And they're like, no, you can't do that now. I was like, what am I supposed to do? It's like, oh, you're supposed to go to sleep. You're supposed to go lay down and have what people call regular sleep. And then in the morning, you'll have slept for like 8 hours or something, and then you're going to get up, which I'm over 7 years sober, and I still have problems trying to sleep a whole entire regular night, like a regular kind of nighttime that people would have. I still have problems with that. Like I sort of patted myself on the back because I got like 7 hours of sleep last night, which is like, oh, hey, look at me. Look at me, the big baller over here, sleeping for 7 hours. Whoa. And then I realized, like, that's probably shy for most people's, like, to have a regular night of sleep. I don't know. So it's kind of interesting. But, you know, it's one of those things. I know from my own perspective that it was like, look, I couldn't keep doing the fish tank stuff. I had to get rid of a bunch of them. I had to get them off my plate because I had more pressing issues. And that was it for me. Was I've got way too much stuff going on. I had way too many things happening, and there was time for big changes in my life. And I had these other priorities. And not being able to get there. You know what I mean? Not be able to get on to all of that stuff. Joshua Stover says, I'm back. Phone died. Did I miss pro tips on cleaning filthy dragon stone? Well, we'll jump back into the topic here for a second. Jake, did you ask about filthy dragon stone? Is that why? Let's see. Josh, not Jake. Just got about 100 pounds of dragon stone, but it's absolutely filthy. Does anyone have a pro tip for getting it tank ready? I actually have a video for that. Let me see if I can find it. Let's go like this. Content. Search across your channel. Here we go. Dragonstone. Oh, here it is. God, this is probably an awful video. How do I share it? Is there a share button? Well, video quality, standard definition. Look at that. It's not even in HD. How old is this video? Oh, it's not even that old. It's from 2015. I guess 2015 is a long time ago, right? It's like 6 years ago. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, guys. That's a long time ago. This guy's so old over here. Promote? Is that the button? Can I... It's not making this easy. Where's the share button? There has to be a freaking share button on here, right? All right, I know how to do it. Oh, here it is. Open link in new window, open link in incognito window, but I literally can't copy it. I have to highlight it before I copy it. You silly computers. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, guys. Okay, we'll answer Josh's question here, and then we'll get back to what I was talking about. We hit that Control-V. Boom. There you go, Josh. 6-year-old video. It's probably awful. Should we preview it here real quick? Where did it go? Did I have it open? I must have closed that window. Never mind. I don't think we can preview it. Oh, here it is. There, they keep track of this stuff. There we go. Oh my God. We'll move this up into high speed. I can't me to deal with. I typically people that know I'm working on a project. Oh yeah, that's an awful video. We can't watch that. But Joshua, you go watch that, and you watch the whole thing. Become a member. Become a whatever. Get on I don't know. Become a patron. Oh my God, we have a new patron, guys. We need an alarm. Oh man, you know what we need? We need an alarm. I need an alarm button. I need a button over here where I could push an alarm, and then the lights would go all crazy. Although let's maybe not hook it up to let's maybe not hook it up to anything that may or may not alert actual people to get freaked out. I don't know what I was doing. I was pushing a button so I could go over here. I don't know why. something. But we have a brand new... Oh, that's what button I was trying to push. This one. Oh my god, guys. We have a new patron. Chirish has become our 182nd 182nd patronizer. Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, and look at that. Taking advantage of yearly discounts. You got to admit, discounts are dope, and I like it when people get to get them. You know what I'm saying? Definitely an American thing. Let's see. Daniel Velez says, I'm retiring in September. I have decided to take down my 2 reef tanks. I needed to cut back on my hobbies. When I get used to retirement, I might take it back up again. I do have to admit that, like, there's so many more fiddly bits with reef tanks regularly going on that I fully understand where you're coming from. I almost would take them down. I almost would take them down myself because I did that. Because, like, the reef tank on top of my planted aquariums became too much. It became too much to deal with, you know. And admittedly, it was pretty much stressing me out. And it was like, look, I'm getting into just so much work here where I have to like get out all these tools, get out all this stuff, do my freshwater tanks, film things, make sure that I'm filming the thing that I need to film, right? Which would almost always put like certain maintenance things out of reach from doing them at the time that I really wanted to do them, because I was like, oh, I need to do this project for a video, so I got to do that now, and I'll end up doing that later. And more often than not, the reef tank ran into the problem of being like I guess the common American thing would be to say it was like the redheaded stepchild, right? Like it was just getting neglected. And, you know, it was falling prey to being the neglected tank, and it being the neglected tank didn't help it. It definitely was not helpful for that tank to be in that spot. What is going on here? Why can't I share my page? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find some Amazon stuff to share with you guys. Oh, here you go. Here's a good example of film equipment that's just like ridiculously expensive. It's like a thing that carries your it carries your camera around. It's a good example of something that's like, dang, $500. Oh my god. But realistically, it's more like $1,000 because you wouldn't want to buy the cheap one. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, guys. You all know what I'm talking about, right? Anyhow, regardless of what I was talking about, the thing is, I can totally relate to what was happening here. Is that this was getting to be way too overwhelming, and there's just like way too many things going on, and so without relating just to my sobriety, I could say that even in just the last 2 years, I had to make some decisions like breaking down my reef tank and going like, I don't have time. I just physically do not have the amount of time in a week that all of the things that I want to get done are going to be able to get done in, right? There's only like 100 oh my god, I don't want to get this wrong. I do not want to sound like a fool. So if we go 24 times 7, it's 168. God, I was going to say 164. So it's a good thing that I used the calculator on that one, because I was going to say 164. Don't ask me why, but that's what I was going to say. It almost feels wrong. 24 times 7 is 168. I thought it was 164. I don't know. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'll admit that. But regardless, there's only 168 hours in the week. You got to sleep for a third of it, right? You're supposed to, which just immediately cuts out a bunch of the time, right? Then you have to work, which definitely is going to take up like 5 days. The way that it works in the States, it's definitely going to take up 5 days. You may work 8 hours, but your workday is likely closer to 9 hours long. So you got a little lunch break in the middle, and then the 2 little breaks, you add those in, and then, the clock in time. Like let's say you start work at 9 o'clock. That doesn't mean you just like show up and are just like in your workplace right at 9 o'clock. Like, you better be there at least. I mean, you got to try to be there early so you can clock in, and then you got to be there, and then you have to find out what's going on. And most businesses don't want to pay you to find out what's going on at work. That's normally just like before the shift, And then you got that lunch break, depending on how long your lunch break is. Then you add in the commute, then the get ready for work time, because you got to get up in the morning. You got to have a little sip of coffee. You should be clean and presentable and have some clean laundry and all that kind of stuff. And then you got to commute home. And then by the time you get home, you're like, I'm hungry. I gotta make some food, and the kids are all going crazy. And then next thing you know, it's like 8:30, and it's like, well, I gotta start getting ready to go to bed, but I got 19 hours of work to do on my fish room. See, so I mean, I could totally relate, So, I understand where all that's coming from a personal level and a personal standpoint, and I would just like to say specifically, hopefully they can maybe sort out their schedule a little bit. Maybe there does become time for some hobby stuff in the future, and hopefully everything works out. Oh my God, monetization is turned off for this video. Uh-oh, I inserted an ad. What did that do? Did you guys just end up watching an ad all of a sudden? I don't know. Let me know. There's no super chats or anything. Where's that little button? Oh, I think I pushed the wrong button. Stream settings? Oh, I don't know. I guess we don't have any monetization on this. Should I turn it on? I don't know. I always thought there was like a button for that. Oh, edit right here. That's the button we're looking for. Oh, but this is on. Okay, well, I don't know. There. Oh, now it's working. Now it says it's on. But I guess we just played. I just played an ad. Oh, maybe it's gonna show up for people later. That was hilarious. Oh my God! I inserted another ad. I'm just pushing the ad button. Oh, okay. Well, that's weird. I don't know. I just clicked on the thing over here to find out how many people were watching, and it said monetization was off. And there just isn't enough likes for the algorithm to be happy. So I'm supposed to tell people like, Joe, you guys, you got to hit the like button. Otherwise, the computer man doesn't know that we like them. There. Robots are made of robot parts. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so moving on. Let's say you are gonna break down your fish room. You definitely want to take some things into consideration. And first of all, the old equipment, are you going to sell it or are you going to store it? Because, as we know, used goods do not pull the price of brand new goods, right? So if you have a bunch of aquariums that say cost you $500, $800, $1,000, whatever, are you going to get the money out of them that you are expecting to get out of them? Because the reality is, if you're talking about a glass tank is probably going to fetch $1 per gallon at most, right? If you're talking about a 100-gallon tank, you might be able to get $150 out of it if it was really, really nice or something. Most people are going to come and they're going to beat you up on the price. They're going to haggle with you. They're going to walk around. They're going to act weird. They're going to send you a ton of Craigslist messages. It's going to be a big pain in the butt. And the reality is, if you're asking for a lot of money, it's going to be more of a pain to deal with. and you're probably already tired with the hobby in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're probably already at that point where you are frustrated, you don't want to be involved anymore, Last thing you want to do is put in a bunch of time and effort to try and sell something for an extra couple of bucks. Is there somebody on my porch? What the hell's going on here? What are the dogs barking at? I don't know. Wait. Somebody was on the porch. Who was that? Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Somebody was at the door and Vicky talked to him. I don't know. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So people are realistically going to beat you up on price because used stuff is generally going to be cheaper than the new stuff, and that's obvious. I think that's obvious to most people. And if you're talking about glass tanks, about $1 per gallon is really what you're going to get from a reasonable buyer that will just come over and buy it. In my experience, that's what I've done. I've bought and sold a ton of tanks in my day, and that is pretty much the best advice I could give you for a glass tank. Stands themselves could go for as little as $5 and as many as much as $2,000, depending on the quality and the condition of them. If you got some kind of steel stand that has rosewood inlays or something crazy like that, maybe you could get a lot of money for it. But most of the generic stands are probably going to be just thrown in with the deal. Maybe it's worth some extra money that it's a nice stand or it's in good shape or anything like that, but you're probably not going to get a lot out of it. Filters, you are not going to get very much money for a used filter unless you have nicely cleaned it up, nicely cleaned all of the stuff in it. Maybe you have new media with it. It's dusted off, that kind of stuff. But realistically, you got to think. An aquarium filter is basically a housing with nothing but moving parts in it. You're going to have, whatever water movement mechanism it has in it is going to be used. It's going to be clogged up to some degree versus it being brand new and having nothing in it. And filters these days are pretty cheap. So if you're expecting to get a lot of money back for your return on that, it's not really going to exist. The one place with selling used aquarium stuff where you probably could make a little bit of your money back would be on lights, is one of them. If you invested in really nice quality lights, you can probably get a reasonable amount out of those. And when I say strange equipment, let's say things like CO2 equipment, you could probably get a good amount of money back. CO2 tanks nowadays, you can just turn them in at a local welding supply or a gas company place that does, tanked gas, air gas and stuff like that, and get like a decent trade-in for it. So you could do that pretty rapidly, but I would recommend just selling them to whoever buys your CO2 equipment. That stuff you'll actually do pretty well. And the one filter that actually does really well with selling is a sump. If you clean up a sump, make it look really nice and shiny, you can probably get really close to what your purchase price on it was. If you bought it used, you could probably turn around and sell it for the same price that you bought it for. If you bought it new, it's probably 2/3 of the price of what you bought it for if you could clean it up really nicely. So I would say that if you bought, for instance, like one of the trigger sumps that I have, they were like $350. I could probably post it up for $250 or something like that and probably get it. If it's in really nice shape, take some good pictures of it. That's something that I can recommend to people. The one other place that you're going to find money is live rock, fish, specific fancy plants, specific shrimp, all your livestock, all of that live stuff that you have. More often than not, people have a tendency to just give it away for adoption. I don't recommend that. I 100% recommend that if you are getting out of the hobby, to do the same thing that you would have done while you were in the hobby, and that's sell your fish and invertebrates and plants and corals and live rock and stuff like that for the price, maybe a slightly reduced price of what you would have normally sold them for before, but I legitimately would sell them for close to the price that you normally would have been at before, and you'll probably find a buyer that maybe wants to bulk buy stuff, something like that. Then you could give a reduced price, but I would certainly advertise like, hey, if you got some really stellar crystal shrimp, for instance, and you normally sell them, 10 for $40 or something, or whatever you're selling them for, I would post them for the same price with some decent pictures, and you'll probably get a really good return on investment. If you have healthy fish, shrimp, plants, all that kind of stuff, you will definitely see a decent return when you if you go that route. If you go, I'm getting out of the hobby, blah blah blah, come get my fish, and act all frustrated and pissed off, you're probably not going to get a lot of return back. But if you're somebody who's just given up and you never want to be back in the hobby, then maybe you just give them away to somebody that will take care of them. Local fish clubs are great for that, because you'll generally get access to a whole bunch of people. You'll get access to a whole bunch of people that can take care of your critters, or your plants or your corals or any of that kind of stuff in a good way, and you'll be able to get rid of them pretty rapidly from a large group of people. Fish Tank Barn says, "Will you take it to your local auction once things open up?" Yeah, when it's regular and we don't have a pandemic going on, I would say you could generally just go to a local auction and bring all that stuff to a local auction. My personal take on breaking down a fish room is, if I have an acrylic tank, or it would have to be a very high quality glass tank for me to consider it. But most acrylic tanks, I would clean them, empty them out, clean them, and store them, because I can put a little cellophane wrap around those. They're generally not going to get scratched in storage if that's the case, and they'll store forever. There's no problem having an acrylic tank with no water in it and nothing going on there for a prolonged period of time. It's not going to be affected realistically. It's going to be totally good to go. I would just store them. The stands, as I can attest, I had an old stand I built a long time ago that was here just like a week and a half ago. And Vicky was like, "Hey, are you planning on doing anything with that?" And I was like, "Well, I was just using it as like an outside table or whatever." And then she was like, "Are you sure you need that?" And I was like, "You're right. I don't need that." So I just karate chopped it and threw it in the dumpster from our remodel dumpster. And then it went bye-bye. And it went far, far away. And I didn't have any worries about it anymore. But like old stands, I generally will like break them apart. Maybe I'll save some of the bigger pieces of wood, because apparently wood is expensive as gold now, by the pound. They're selling lumber by the pound now, like on the street corner in little baggies. Who knows? I don't know. So maybe I would save some of the lumber out of there if I felt like it was large enough and still reusable, which is generally the case with almost any lumber anyhow. But I do end up with like big stacks of lumber that I just am like, I'm saving it because I'm going to use it for something. And it does come in handy, but also at the same time, you do have to draw the line somewhere. So maybe you already got a lot of lumber saved up and you're like, I'm just going to get rid of it. So you could cut it up and have a campfire for the family or something. Who knows what you're going to do. But that's my basic recommendation, would be to take those like expensive tanks, like an acrylic tank or something like that, and just go ahead and store it, because chances are, if this is a hobby that you're already way into, you're probably going to get back into the hobby at some point in time, and you don't want to run into that the cost situation of getting back into the hobby and it becoming cost prohibitive, where you're like, well, I could probably spend a couple $100 on some substrate and some filter material and some cool stuff that I'm going to put in my tank, but I don't think I'm going to be spending $1,000 to get back into the hobby. Like, that's not cool. I know some people the other day were recommending me to go to Glass Cages, glasscages.com. And I've used these guys in the past quite a few times. They have a whole new website. It's all fancy schmancy now. It's very exciting, very wow. I've used these guys in the past many times. They were always fairly affordable. And I was like, I wonder how much their acrylic tanks are. Because as you guys know, I'm always kind of open to the possibility of maybe starting some new projects or considering where I'm going to invest my time and money for the future stuff. And so I went to look up one of their acrylic tanks that would fit the size that I have, which are generally 120s, and I want to stick to that. So each one of those tanks is $1,353, and that don't think that that includes taxes. I don't think that includes shipping. So we are talking about some significant out of pocket there if I wanted to get back into one of the tanks that I own, and that doesn't even include the sump, right? So when you get down to it, like, I'm likely to never sell the 120s, right? Even if I'm like, I'm not going to be in the hobby. I'm not going to be in it for 3 years, right? It would be more affordable to me to store these somewhere out of the way. I could even put them outside if I really needed to, because if they get wet, they'll be fine. Than to buy, $1,300 plus tax, plus shipping, plus all that stuff. So, my recommendation on the high-end tanks that I own, I'm just going to keep them even if I get out of the hobby. And that would be my recommendation for the average person. Now, to be brutally honest with you guys, I have to go to the bathroom. I will be right back. I'm going to either pee my pants or I'm going to have to be right back. So, do we have the be right back spin? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back. Just wait and you'll see. Please excuse me, your honor, but you can't hold me no longer. Can't you feel the vibrations? I broke out and left traces. Go ahead, try to catch me if you can, man. You'll be looking all night, I'm the Sandman. New York, London to Japan. I'ma show the whole world who I am. Boom, boom, major look, huh? Yeah, this one is for the books. All these chances I took still, I move straight on these rooks now. Hold me up or hold me down, have my back or hold my crown. Either you with me or not, but you better give all you got, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back. Just wait and you'll see.
back button. Oh, there it is. All right, I'm back. Okay. Whew, that was wild. It's always funny when you're like running to go potty and then somebody else was there and then you're like, oh, hey, man, can you get out of the way, please? And then they're like, no. You're like, like, oh, let's have a quick conversation. Yeah, so as I was saying, the very expensive tanks that I have, I would end up putting them into storage. The stands, I would probably get rid of them. And then depending on my filtration, as far as I'm concerned, all my filters right now are sumps. So what I would do is take them, clean them out, take all of the filter media, so all of the biological media, I would dunk that into a bleach bucket. I would basically make a bucket with, so I'd probably make like 4 gallons of water. Then I'd probably do like a half a cup of bleach, something like that. A little excess is fine. And then the first batch, what I normally do is I would add all that bleach. Then I would add a bunch of crushed ice, So strangely enough, the cold temperature with bleach and whatnot helps to sort of eradicate everything with bleach. It's probably like an old wives' tale. It's probably whatever, but that's what I would do. And then I would do hot water into, I basically would drain off the bleach water as safely as possible, dispose of it. Then I would fill it up with hot water and allow everything to evaporate, and then allow everything to dry off, fully dry off before I go ahead and store it. All of the filter floss material, if it was still clean, obviously I would save that. Anything else that's super used like that, I would probably end up disposing of and getting rid of. And then I would do the same thing with the pumps. The pumps, you definitely want to go ahead and disassemble them, bleach everything, dry everything off, re-lube everything. Make sure you add your lube before it goes into storage, and you could get everything nicely placed into storage, nice and dry and cleaned off. Lights, I would just wipe them off, store them somewhere, and all that substrate and whatnot that I have, excess substrate, I would just go ahead and I would just till it into my garden. That's what I would do. But yeah, as far as all that stuff and getting rid of it, that's what I would do. The proper filter cleaning and the storage, the biggest part is to bleach everything and get everything off of it so you don't have like strange bacteria and whatnot. And by the way, this is what you should do if you're going to sell the stuff. Also, if you're going to sell filter materials or any of that kind of stuff, or a filter itself, you would want to bleach everything and then rinse it off and make sure it's fully dried before you go ahead and pass it on to somebody else. As realistically, as fish keepers, it's pretty rare that we would pass anything on to anybody else, but it does happen. It has happened. And so my recommendation would be to do your due diligence, clean things up, and allow them to fully dry. That's going to be real key. Allow them to fully dry before passing them on to anybody else. And generally speaking, it would create a much better and more responsible situation, for passing things on to other people. I understand that. Like, when you're going to sell something, like, the last thing that you want to do is put in a bunch of work to it, but it really is the responsible and right thing to do. I don't know. We've lost chat. Everybody just stopped chatting, I guess. Everybody was too busy hitting the like button, so everybody stopped chatting. But let me catch up with the chat here before we move on to the next things that I was going to talk about. Freshwater ichthyology. Burnout seems very common in the aquarium trade, as well as YouTube. Seems the switch between hobby and something bigger does it for a lot of people, probably why many in the trade don't even own any. That's right. Being a fish keeper, having a fish room, and having a YouTube channel is like having extra jobs, and it becomes extraordinarily, and it becomes a lot to try and manage all of the aspects and all of the things that you're doing. You become incredibly busy being a editor, a writer, being the person who is on camera, being the cameraman, doing all of the stuff along with also maintaining a giant fish room, And somebody asked me, actually, somebody was being very rude to me, and they were trying to fight me at some point in time, and they were trying to tell me that that I was just jealous of people that were successful and making a lot of money. And the reality is, like, I don't think that it's a jealousy issue that I have, right? But I honestly think that, like, I am envious of people that are in the position that go, well, I make like 10 grand a month off of YouTube, so I get to do that full time. It's like, I am envious of people that have managed to become as successful as they have, because that's where I would like to be. You know what I mean? Like, who wouldn't like to be successful at the thing that they do? It would be a seriously odd thing for a human being to be like, I don't want to be successful at the thing that I do 100 hours a week or whatever. Like, the whole reason for doing it in the first place is because you would want to be successful at it, right? Like, I don't know anybody who sets out to intentionally fail at the things that they do, but I wouldn't say that I'm jealous. I would say that, I have some envy in the fact that, like, man, you're already at where I want to be at, Like, Corey's a perfect example. He's really successful. He's able to make lots of content on a regular basis. Would I like to be able to make a lot of content on a regular basis? Hell yeah, of course I would. I would also like to have some helpers too, That would be awesome. But I'm not there yet. I can't afford to hire anybody to help me out. Someday, we hope to be there. Eric Wyrox here says, hey, Corvus, hope all are well, sir, lurking and working. And hey, Big Tank Hank is here. What's up, dude? I think we're, I think I'm scheduled to go on Big Tank Hank next week. Is that right? Okay, this calendar is not working properly. Oh, I think my, well, I think my calendar's not synced over here, so who knows what's going on with my computer right now. But we did get a $5 super chat from the Fish Tank Barn, aka Mike. I don't know if Mike is going. Is Mike going to? I think there's a. I think that there's a convention this weekend. I wonder if he's on his way to a convention. I don't know. I wasn't invited to any conventions, and I've decided to not pay out of pocket unless I'm going to Europe or something like crazy interesting. Because I'll tell you this much. To go out to places like New Jersey or Schaumburg, Ohio. Wait, is Schaumburg in Ohio? I think so. But to go out to these types of places and spend thousands of dollars to go out there and then just get more or less just like bad vibes, like, what's the point? Like, what's the point? June 19th. Okay, that's right. So, oh my God, I'm your guest on Juneteenth. Awesome. I would warn you. I think we're likely gonna broach that conversation. I would imagine. I don't know. Let's see. Nope. I'm going to Akron for a fish swap tomorrow and an open house. An open house? What? What's this open house? What's this open house? Like an open house, like to buy a house? Very interesting. Lurking while working. Oh, okay. What's up, Eric? I like the lurking while working. If you want to disinfect, use a chlorhexidine or sanitizer. Just use bleach. I mean, Jamie, I understand. I actually worked at a place that created, where we actually made our own chemicals and chemical processing and whatnot. I recommend people just use bleach because it's readily accessible. It's very easy to follow the instructions. It is generally the easiest sanitizer that is readily available in the United States that people can utilize that will sanitize most things. So that's why. Paula Kreinberg says, I just went to the pier for seawater trying a plankton culture. I don't even know what I'm doing. Yeah, it's one of the real downsides to getting seawater from near the shore is that you're going to end up with a whole lot of polycarbons and all sorts of crazy nonsense that washes into the ocean from the land that is being generally poisoned by humans. The best way to get seawater, in my experience, is to get on a boat and go out. I mean, you don't have to go out super far, but if you go out like a mile or a mile and a half or something like that, you can get generally pretty clean water out there. I mean, it's not the best, but it's generally a lot cleaner than anything close to shore. But that implies that you have a bunch of buckets and a boat that you could go out into the ocean with, right? Hey, babe.
Hey.
What's up?
I love you. The dog.
Hey, guys, I want you to know something. Victoria loves me, and I love Victoria. She got mad at me because I fart too much, and it's my bad. I love you.
The farting has to stop.
It will never stop. I heard you fart after you die, right?
I heard that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard actually that the gas can cause your body to sit up.
Hard farting once you're dead. Why buy a mattress anywhere else? That's what I was singing. All right, I love you.
I love you too. Dogs are fed. Don't listen to their lies.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Fed
put
the dogs early. All right.
I'm gonna put the baby seat in the car, in the truck, and then I'm gonna head out.
In the truck?
Yeah.
What am I going to do with all those couches?
I'm sure that they'll travel to the daycare and back just fine.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't get a chance to take them to the dump today.
Darn it! I was gonna put the seat in my truck because I need to get gas. I was unable to buy gas on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, I can leave it. It's whatever. I was gonna put it in the other pickup truck because that's where you wanted it.
That's what I was going to do, and then I remembered that I was unable to buy gas on Wednesday because for some reason the gas station was closed, and I was like, "F all this! I'm just gonna go."
Yeah.
So my tank is like, "Hey, I'm almost empty." I was like, "I better just go get gas."
All right. Well then.
Steve says we have to get a room.
We have 4 of them.
We have many rooms here. We have many rooms. Which one should we get?
The laundry room?
The butt fart rooms?
No, that's
Where the butt farts is?
not the bathroom, that's for sure.
Hard farter.
All right. Well, then the car seat is just in the living room for you.
Okay, I'll grab it.
Okay.
I'll make up my mind. New truck or old truck?
Yeah, make up your mind and put the chair in it.
And plus the parking lot there is so tight that I was like, maybe I'll just take the old truck because if anybody crashes into me, I won't care.
I think it'll be fine. Either way.
It's a pretty tight parking situation. Correct?
I mean, compared to what? Every other time.
Every other parking lot on the planet? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's up there for you.
Okay.
I'll just go get flowers and gas and head out then. But don't feed the dogs. They're fine.
Okay. Let's see. Freshwater ichthyologies. I think life gets ahead of us. I also find there's also people disappearing from the hobby. I know one person I knew from 6 years ago. Stepping back can be worth it as well. That does make sense. That does make sense. Oh, okay. Star sand is better because from Jamie because it doesn't need to be rinsed. Yeah, I actually like to employ the rinsing for people because then they can rinse it with hot water, and it's much easier to get things to dry out once you've rinsed them with hot water. They have a tendency to employ evaporative cooling, basically, or whatnot. The process of evaporation is accelerated by the heat and temperature. So that's why you wash your dishes with hot water, by the way, if people were wondering why. That the drying is a big part of the sanitation. Sanitization? Sanitization? Sanitation. Sanitation. Sanitization? Sanitation. Oh, I'm stuck in a loop, bros. That process of sanitizing. Drying is a very important part of it. So, and bleach is very easy for average people to get a smell whether or not the bleach is still on there. So it's fairly easy for the average person to go like, does it still smell like bleach? No. Oh, well, it must have all evaporated by now. And it's, I always want to recommend people to employ the rinsing because it's just the proper step of due diligence, just part of what you're doing, and just the easy, it's just best to give good practices out as far as advice goes. Big Tank says we need swaps in Houston. Houston is a big enough city that you could probably organize a once every 6 month. You could probably organize a once every 6 month like fish club meetup swap auction something. You could probably do that. I would imagine. I mean, Houston and the surrounding areas, a lot of people, a lot of cool people, and I know there's a lot of fish keepers down in Texas. That's for sure. Houston. Whoop. Houston population 2021. Are you guys? I heard that there was a lot of weird voting stuff going on down in Houston. Did they get that sorted out yet, or are they trying to screw people over? Houston is the 4th most populous city in the nation. Well, there you go. I was like, Houston's pretty big. Turns out it's the fourth big, right? Oh my God, it's the biggest city in Texas? I always think that Dallas is the biggest, right? Oh my God, Houston is, how big is Dallas then? Dallas population is 6.3 million. So Dallas is 6.3 million, but I think Houston, Houston population is 6.4. So you've got Houston and Dallas. They're about big. They're about the same. DFW is whipping Houston. Since 2010, both the Dallas and Houston metropolitan areas have added about 1 million people. That's the most in the nation by far. But in the last 3 years, the Dallas metro has eclipsed Houston significantly. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know why anybody would have written that Dallas is whipping Houston. I don't know why they would even bother to do that. But I guess Dallas is growing faster than Houston is. Okay, but so what does that mean? Is Dallas like the 5th largest city? Houston the 3rd? Okay, hold on. We got to look this up. Largest cities in the U.S. by population. Let's do that. Okay, so New York is number 1 with 8.6. L.A., Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, Philly. Now, this chart here says Dallas, Texas has only 1.4 million. What is going on here? But this one, the Houston says 2.3. I don't know what the hell's going on then. I don't know what's happening here. These guys say 6 million. This one says 2.6 million. I don't know what the hell's going on. This is crazy. I'll have to get to the bottom of this at some point in time. List of United States cities by population. So maybe that's like the surrounding areas or something. What's this citation? This has a citation. City wins census appeal. What? I don't even know, dude. Seattle's number 18. And Seattle's like realistically a pretty small city, let's be honest. But a lot of people don't live in Seattle. Most everybody lives around Seattle. Seattle. San Francisco, Indy, Charlotte, Columbus, Jacksonville. It's always weird to see Florida having so many people in it. Is that weird to you guys? It always seems very weird to me. El Paso is on there. Memphis, Tucson. I don't know, dudes. We'll have to figure this out someday. Why did they say 6 million? Why were they saying that? Is it the surrounding areas? It must be. I don't know. We've trailed off our topic from today. There was other stuff that I wanted to talk about, like cleaning your fish room space. But I think we got the top 3 things I wanted to talk about. So I'm kind of tired of talking about it now. I guess we'll save that. What will we save it as? Fish room top. Break down topic. Yeah? Yeah, we'll call it that. And we'll just save that file and get rid of it. 1.33 million for 2019 for Dallas. Yeah, it's saying 6 million and stuff like that. So I'm thinking that they're including like the like Dallas Fort Worth area or something. I'm not 100% sure. I guess we'll have to figure that out. Jamie Oliver says Memphis is small. It's 28th, dude. It's 28th biggest city in the U.S. at 650,000 people. And it's growing. Oh, my God. Portland is growing. Oh, my God. Oklahoma City is growing. Oh, my God. Vegas is growing. Oh, my God. Detroit is shrinking. Oh, my God. Which cities on here are shrinking? Chicago is shrinking like a tiny bit. I did hear a report that New York was shrinking, but it's growing by 1% on this. But I think the census just came out, and I don't know if this city population as of July 1, 2020, as estimated by the United States Census Bureau. So I guess this is the census info dropped in here. Okay. 2020. 2010. Oh, so they've grown since 2010. That's why. Okay, so the growth change is over a decade period. That's why. Looking at this analysis here, you're like, dude, what's going on with New York? They said it wasn't growing. But I guess it has grown over that 10-year period, which I don't even know why. Why would New York even need to grow? Like, get out of here, dude. People need to get out of New York, dude. It's nuts. Stop living downtown. It's bonkers. LA's been growing. Chicago's shrunk a little bit. Houston's growing. Phoenix growing. Philly, Dallas is growing at a higher rate. That's right. Okay, so there it is. But at that rate, it's going to take them forever to catch up because they are behind significantly. So, I don't know. Austin is on there. Austin's on the list. They have not eclipsed 1 million, but they're growing like crazy. Fort Worth is growing like crazy. My guess would be with Austin and Fort Worth that they probably just annexed areas around it. With like Charlotte, that's probably what happened. Seattle, that's probably what happened. They're probably annexing areas around. Because 28% growth in a 10-year period is nuts. But maybe that's what's happening. I don't know. Definitely have to look into this, though. Toledo is shrinking, guys. I'm not shocked. Nobody. I'm not shocked. The largest city in the U.S. is OK City. Is Oklahoma City? By what metric? You mean like by land mass or something? I mean, Oklahoma lost half of their state already this last year. So, if it's by land mass, they're having problems already. Where is Oklahoma City on here? Oklahoma, where the wind comes whipping down the plain. Oakland? No. Actually, I was surprised how big Colorado Springs was. Oklahoma City. Nope, it's 26th. It's 26th on the list. 1,570 square kilometers. Which Jacksonville's bigger than that. Houston is bigger than that at 1,600. Anchorage is 4,400 square kilometers. So I don't know. It's not by land mass. I googled largest city in the U.S. and I got Anchorage. Yes, that's the largest city in the U.S. by square mileage is Anchorage at 4,400 square kilometers. Kilometers squared. Let's see. 2016 land area. Smallest to largest. Let's go largest to smallest. Anchorage is the biggest, then Jacksonville, then Houston, then Oklahoma City, then Phoenix, then Nashville, Los Angeles, San Antonio, Indy, Fort Worth, Dallas, blah, 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 blah. How low is Seattle on this list? Like, the actual area of Seattle is tiny, and it's restricted by the fact that there's water all around, like the ocean. Where is it? I don't see it. I don't see it on the list. It all went all wacky on me. Let's see. Let's go like this. Let's go by population, because that'll give us back. We'll go back to 18. Yeah, Seattle is only 217 square kilometers. Not very big, dude. That puts it way down the list. Did I say 217? Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it now. I don't see where it landed on this list. And anyhow, there's not a number there. Okay. Enough of that boring nonsense talking about cities and how big they are. Let's see what we got in the chat. What's a government building? We have our guild halls. I think mayors are there. Also city council buildings, but councils don't cover cities. Always include one. It's probably more like it. Government buildings in the U.S. In the UK, I'm pretty sure to be a city, you have to have a cathedral. Hence why cities like Salisbury are tiny. London has the City of London. The United States is a secular-run government, so no, you do not. There's no requirement for a cathedral or any of that nonsense. We have no religious affiliation. Secular country. That's why the UK and the US. That's how this whole thing started. That's how this whole thing kicked off. You know? Remember that? Yeah, that's what that was all about. But we're a secular country, so we don't have any requirement for a cathedral, that's for sure. City requirements USA. Minimum population requirement. is 25,000 for a new city. Existing cities have a minimum population requirement of 5,000. Cities must be at least 4 square miles in area, have a minimum population density of 1,000 people per square mile, and an assessed property valuation of $2,500 per capita. Now, this is a very interesting metrics. Common population definitions between 1,500 and 50,000 people, with most U.S. states using a minimum between 1,500 and 5,000. Some jurisdictions set no minima. What does a city need to be a city? The policies dictated that for a town's application for a city status to be accepted, it must fulfill 3 criteria. A minimum population of 300,000. What the? We haven't heard that about anywhere. Oh, that's not U.S. Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. Yeah, basically you just got to have some people there, file a declaration, and make sure that people there are making enough money as far as the U.S. goes. I don't know. It seems all pretty arbitrary. Nevertheless, let's close that. Let's close this. Okay. VB, who here thinks that auto feeder are kind of lame? Like interacting with my fish unless you are like a traveler. I like the auto feeder for when I'm out of town, if it's a reliable auto feeder and I can use it for a short period of time. My big problem with most auto feeders is that they have a tendency to get humidity built up and like the food and everything gets all kind of caked in there and weird and it stops working properly. So I don't rely on them for long periods of time, but I do have some reliable ones that I got from Aquarium Co-op that I use while I'm out of town. So next time I'm out of town and I don't have somebody here to feed the fish, my first thing is to get somebody here to feed the fish. It's very rare that I travel that I'm not able to find somebody to babysit the house. So that's my main reason, but I have backup in case I need an auto feeder. Lost Springs, a city has 4 people. That was for pre-existing cities. There's no requirement for pre-existing cities, but for new cities, there's a thing. Freshwater ichthyology, I'm guessing, but I say to qualify as a city, blah, blah, blah. Already read that. VB23 says secular. Yeah, I mean, well, our government, we are a secular country. If whether you want to argue the validity of that statement or not, I guess, is something that you could try to argue, I guess, but the United States government is run secularly. There are a lot of religious people in the United States, and a lot of people's religions influence their decision-making process, but the United States is a secular-run, secular country. We don't have an official religion or any of that stuff. And people that try to mix the two generally run into a lot of problems. That's all I'll say about that, realistically. Chirish says, just got my shipment of Pearl Galaxy Japanese rice fish. I read these little guys are on the International Space Station and had to try breeding some. Pearl Galaxy Japanese rice fish. I don't think I've ever seen that variant. I've seen a lot of Japanese rice fish. I don't think I've seen Pearl Galaxy. Are they just like the really white ones with the little blue eyes? Okay, I've seen those ones. Yeah, Aquarium Glazer. I hope to go back to Aquarium Glazer at some point in time. That place was a lot of fun to visit. I think next time I go, if I do go to Aquarium Glazer, I'm going to make the requirement that people just leave me alone and I get to be there all day. I think that's what I'll do if I go back next time. Vast country, I guess, where you can go miles without seeing a house. Kind of strange. Even isolated areas have houses or huts. Yeah, it's the weird thing. Like the United States, and same thing goes for like China, India, all those places. Like they're huge, they're vast countries. It takes a long time to go across them, and it gets definitely minimized by like air travel and stuff like that these days, where people are just like, yeah, whatever. But the United States has a lot of vast areas to drive around. There's a lot of unoccupied area in the U.S. still. All right. Hour and a half in, and people are chill. Did you guys hit the like button? Did we hit the like button? Did you share this out? I think you can do clips now. I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. I thought I added the clip feature to the channel, but I think it's there. I don't know. You guys can cut clips now and make your own shareable little videos of stuff that I make. I have it enabled, so hopefully it works on your browser or whatever if you want to make clips of dumb stuff that I've said or smart stuff that I've said or just stuff in between. Who knows? But, yeah. Thank you, Mike, for your super chat today. You guys can do all that stuff. If you want to do that stuff, you can. I don't know where my chat went. I think I closed the... Did I close the window? I did. There it is. All right. Yep. That's buttons. That's time for buttons. I was going to do a Minecraft stream on Twitch today, but I don't know. Maybe I will. Become a Twitch member, I guess. I don't know.